Welcome to my video, which is all about boundaries. Significant video that needs to be talked about. Now, I'm reporting live and direct from London, from my son's bedroom actually, which is why it's a little bit of a bland background. Boys don't do much in their bedrooms. I've turned up at his apartment in London. I'm like, where's the pictures? Where's this, that, and the other? So this is it, I'm afraid. But anyway, you've got this, which is the main thing, right? Now, in my last video that I recorded in Cape Town, I basically said to you that I've been through something really, really big. I was still going through it, so I was a little bit wobbly on the video, but I wanted my emotions to move through, so you weren't getting my opinion. I needed it to embody so I could actually come out with the medicine and then share with you with, like, you know, no uncertain terms. In fact, what the actual highest timeline lessons were, even though they were very stingy and sore to go through. And it was indeed about boundaries, right? So I have a list here that I'm just going to go through, and it's essential that we talk about this. I have actually so much to share. I'm going to be doing videos on so many energy updates because we're now in lion season, and there's a lot going on. So each video really does warrant its own space for each subject matter because it's big, right? So boundaries, and this is point number one. Cannot move forward without them, right? We know that. The whole world is challenged with boundaries, or rather lack of them, right? What is incredibly hard to have boundaries, you know, or to apply them is within the New Age spirituality. I do not vibe with that matrix because that's exactly what it is. And it has been very, very difficult to navigate your process and put the boundaries in truthfully and honestly and have them respected, because the New Age spirituality is so corrupted, let's say, that, you know, like, to actually have a conversation with somebody, they say, are you projecting? Are you projecting on me? Or, you know, or is your inner child, I think you need to go and sit with your inner child because that's a you thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's really hard because there's a lot of people that don't want to deal with their shadow. So it's really, really easy to kind of like chuck it back on someone else. So if you do put a boundary in place in the 3D world, it's quite simple, isn't it? Sometimes I wish I was still sleeping, because if I said to somebody, listen, didn't like that, don't do it, and they were like, yeah, whatever, and I'm like, well, there's the line, and they go, okay, fine. And it's quite simple, right? But then you step into the spiritual world and you try and have a conversation with someone, it's smoke and mirrors, man. Which is why we think that we break out of, like, the world 3D. Oh yeah, we're in the spiritual realms now. No, that's another false matrix. Just go to the next realm, which is just be you. Just be authentically you, vibe with the people you want to vibe with, those that are, you know, clean your council, keep your council clean, eat the foods that taste nice, hang out with the people that feels nice, and, you know, align yourself with situations that feel nice, and just live your life. And that is what the videos have been very, very recently, talking about living in this middle world. So we've done, like, full circle, right? And it really is just about, like, I suppose in a way, choosing joy is a boundary, because you're not choosing that, that's a boundary. I'm choosing this. There we go. Nothing gets past this boundary unless it's joy, fun, and play, right? And like I say, that includes people, places, and situations. If you're a dick, then you can stay over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my mantra. Don't be a dick. You know, do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, but it's like, just choose it. If that feels funky to you, don't go there. If it feels joyous and you feel safe and happy and it just feels like comfy slippers, then that's for you. That's not a spiritual thing. That is a boundary thing, right? So choose your joy, choose your juice and your joy. And anything less than that, leave it alone, right? So as I say, we can't move forward into this next realm unless we kind of like have a strong sense of boundaries, and that's got to come from within, right? Because I have actually put boundaries in my life, very big ones actually, and with very, very powerful spiritual people. And they have actually overstepped them. And I'm like, wow, that was crazy, because I mustered up all this courage to say, please don't do this. Please don't do that. I'd really appreciate if you didn't. And it was very, very clean cut, the conversation, and very honest and true. When my back was turned, that person did exactly the opposite. And I was like, how did that happen? Because I voiced my boundaries, because it wasn't backed up from within. You've got to have that inner authority, right? And you've got to mean business. You've got to be like, it's non-negotiable. I am not prepared to sacrifice my happiness for somebody else's bullshit, period. You either join my happy train or you go off on your other train. That's the choice you want to make, but this is how it rolls. So I learned that very, very fast, that if, you know, you can speak your boundaries and say it, but if you're not backing it up from inside and you're quite scared, then it's the energy inside of you that's going to dictate the upholding of that boundary or not. So in comes Sekhmet. Sekhmet, Sekhmet, Sekhmet. There are other videos to come. I'm very excited that we're in lion season, even though it's really intense. But this is what this month is all about that we're going into, August. It's about really finding your fire, your voice, and your inner authority. It's the inner authority, that presence, that dictates the boundary, right? And that's what we're clearing out on. Because if you're feeling small, doesn't matter what words you spout out there, people are going to feel it. It's like kids sense fear, right? You can say something and that kid's going to go, oh no, they're really scared of me. Same with animals. So you've got it, it's about presence, right? So now the next thing I want to talk about there, that's the balance between the chaos and the calm, which kind of like, that is a boundary, because we've been talking a lot and teaching a lot about the balance between Ptah and Sekhmet, the balance between Hathor and Sekhmet, the balance between, you know, sort of like the chaos and the calm, and that cross-pollinates everywhere, right? And you can't be that absolute space holder and do your work if you are being sucked into the chaos all the time. So the mastery comes from holding your space and being able to work with the chaos at a distance, but not losing this. That's also a boundary, right? So it's not so cut and dry. It's expansive. It's big. So really kind of like focus in and hone on, like, am I in the chaos? If you're feeling a bit funky and out of alignment, am I in the chaos? Am I in somebody else's chaos? Hang on a minute. Let me just realign. And by doing that, you might not be having a conversation with somebody. It might not get that far. It's just an energy out there where you're like, oh, it's a bit much. You know, even walking into a busy city. I'm in London, feeling it. I have to constantly check myself to come into my inner peace so I can actually hold the chaos. And then I'm fine. But when I'm like saying to the kids, can't do crowds, mom needs to go home, take me on the tube. Oh my God. I'm like, Ava just cracks me up. She's just like, mum's tweaking out. And I am, because I've gone into the chaos. But when I just breathe and I come into my center, it's a boundary. And that can all just stay there, right? So now, so your movie, okay? So if you are being challenged with boundaries, right? It's your movie, okay? So who or what you have put there that is challenging this subject matter I'm talking about, bless it. Bless it. Don't get angry at it, because then you're projecting and you're not dealing with your issues. It's a bit like putting the hot tap on and go, oh my God, it's burning my head. And then you're like, but you're the one who turned the tap on. There's nobody else in the shower with you. You know what I mean? Put the cold on, mix it up a little bit, make it more pleasurable. You know what I mean? So it's like that. That's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes we can get blindsided and I poke you in the the sore spot. You want to throat punch me because you're like, Marie, that hurt, you know, but it's actually you that's poking you in your sore spot. Why? Because it's your movie. So remember, we're here to learn. Okay. 100%. So if all of these characters in your movie, some are good, some are bad. Some show you the absolute love, divine love, and some people come into your life to really show you where you need work. As Hathor would say, where do you lack love, right? And that's essentially what this is about, okay? So if you have been triggered by somebody coming in and really like stepping over your boundaries and it's been a big lesson, I know it's hard. Come into this space and really kind of go, well, okay, well, I put that person in place. Why would I do that? Okay, what are they showing me? In what area? And then all of a sudden you'll get movement, and then you'll be able to release it through forgiveness and then move on. Because ain't no one got time for bitterness or handbags at dawn. We want to kind of go through our lessons, realign, up next level, moving on, okay? And I'm going to explain to you my story in a minute, okay? I'm getting there. I'm just doing the entry to everything here, you know? So last thing here. If you're feeling absolutely awful and like a bag of shit that you've put a boundary in, that means you're doing it right. That's what my husband always says to me. He says, if you are feeling really crap and uncomfortable about something you've done, it's because you've basically put in a boundary. Because I don't usually, you see, because I'm just kumbaya, vibing, no problem. And then I wonder why I get taken out, because I just think that everything is love and light, which it kind of is, but there's also lessons as well. So I need to kind of like embrace that a little bit. So, you know, when I put a boundary and I'm like, oh, I feel really uncomfortable. Well, good, because that means that we've done something different here. So that's a tick, right? Now, my story, get comfortable, get a cup of tea, because this really is tea with Marie, okay? So my story, which I refer back to my other video as to why it was so hectic. So I had 2 days to go until I was traveling here to London, right? Very important trip, because it's the Tablets of Light Avalon, coming to see my kids who left home. Everything was just like, I was just so looking forward to it. Now, I have a lady, I call her my house manager, and she runs everything in my house and has done for 3 years. And she's very spiritual, she's very gifted, she's a lovely African woman. And, you know, she just supports me so I can do this, right? And, you know, she didn't have any parents, you know, had a very, very tough life. So she always sees me as mom, you know, because I'm everybody's mom, right? That wasn't necessarily a good thing in this situation. So Anyway, she started to have more conversations with me, and she was opening up, and she was just like telling me about sexual abuse, how her parents died young, and fine, no problem. You're in the temple, man. You're in my house. You're in the right place. And she was opening up with her light language. It was a beautiful thing. And I was like, wow, this woman's really, really claiming her power. And we used to have long chats in the kitchen about Yeshua and the teachings of Mary Magdalene. Beautiful, right? So anyway, all of a sudden, I'm lying there on a Saturday morning and I get a message from her, and she's just like, I have another mission from God. I have to leave now. I was like, what? It's the weekend and I'm flying in 2 days. What do you mean you have to leave? Now, first of all, I thought it was a suicide note because it sounded very cryptic like that. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. So I phoned her, and luckily she was well. But what happened is she'd had a massive influx of light. And because she's had a lot of darkness in her, I think there was a lot of entities inside, there was this push and pull between the light and dark. So she was talking very cryptic. Then she told me in the next breath that she'd stolen everything from the house. She'd stolen my daughter's jewelry and she wants to bring it back. So I'm like, I'm trying to process all of this. I'm like, okay, talk about boundaries, right? Absolutely penetrated, finished, whatever. So she comes to the house, then tells me that she's been bringing lots of men to the house to have special hugs. And I was like, is there anything else? Because I'm now sat here having an absolute meltdown. My husband's away. I'm due to leave in 2 days. This woman's supposed to be looking after my house, who has always looked after my house. She was always been my safety and support, right? And I'm sat there just vibrating. So anyway, in the end, I was sat there listening to her, and I just heard Yeshua say, cleanse, forgive, release. So instead of going mad, I was compassionate, and I healed her spirit. I gave her a good smudge, and I said, listen, this is what's going down, like I've always done. I've always given a counsel and a place to be loved and held, even though she'd done what she'd done. It's done. What can you do? So anyway, I smudged her, and we kind of like had a bit of a shamanic healing and everything like that. And she felt a lot more grounded in her body. And then she was like, I really don't want to not work here. And, you know, I want to stay. And I was like, always forgiving, hearing Yeshua in my ear, forgive. So I kind of got that a bit twisted, and I was like, okay, no problem. Let's just draw a line under it, but you're going to have to earn your trust back now, right? So she places this necklace in my hand, which she'd stolen from my daughter. So I just put it on the side. I was like, it's got a pendant on it. I put it on the side, no problem, right? So anyway, it was, long story short, you know, we kind of kumbaya'd it, and then she went on her way. And I just felt super uncomfortable because I just thought maybe the whole situation has just really rattled my cage, because I felt very vulnerable now. Like somebody had penetrated my boundaries, come into my absolute sacred space temple from the inside out and rocked my world. And I was like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel held. And of course, you know, my human self's tweaking out. The spiritual Marie is just going, you got this. It's fine. It's a lesson. Da, 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 da. So anyway, she said she's going to come into work on Monday morning. Then she sends me a message late that she'd been phoning the night before. And she said, this is freaky and quite scary. And she said, wake up, your time is up. And I thought, oh Lord, am I like, this is not good. This is not good. So I was like, oh shit. So this is not the solution to have this woman come to my house. I thought it was, because I hadn't asserted a boundary. What I was supposed to do with Yeshua speaking in my ear was to cleanse the situation, be compassionate, right? Forgive, which I did. But then release it. I wasn't supposed to say, yeah, come back in, knock yourself out. Let's do it all over again. But I was like not aware that I hadn't put that boundary in. I felt really funky. So when I saw that message, I was like, oh no, this is done. I was freaking out. They only had 2 days to get somebody to look after my house. All of a sudden, when I said, this is done, and Sekhmet came in, and I said to Sekhmet, what do I do? And she literally said, pick up your phone this person. Had an old friend, very, very beautiful starseed that I know. Chris, if you're watching, thank you. And she'd started a new business to actually look after houses. So all of a sudden, Chris is like such a starseed and so light. She was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Within an hour, she was like, I can come, no worries. Go do your thing. It's all good. Animals love her. Everything's fine. And I literally went through extreme darkness and fear. And then after putting a boundary in, all of the answers came and all the support was there. So what was quite crazy about this whole situation was like, when you think that you're in the darkness and you're like, oh my God, what have I done wrong? Spirit's punishing me. This is bad, 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 bad. When you think that that's going on, like, and that's the cut and dry of it, it's not, because as soon as you pass the initiation, all of a sudden, Sekhmet and Spirit were like, oh, okay, back to normal then, business as usual, here you go. And peace was restored Off I got on the plane, away I went. Sadly, the lady that worked for me, she actually went missing. And I mean, this is Lionsgate, man. There was so much energy coming in, and she kind of lost her marbles, and too much light coming in and too much darkness in her. She's now in hospital, and yeah, anyway, she's in the best place. Wow, this woman had worked for me for 3-4 years. This wasn't a stranger in my house, but like, you know, she was the closest person to me. Very close, she's like my sister. And that happened, and it was a complete penetration from my boundaries from the inside out. It was the biggest lesson. It was the biggest lesson. So just to round it up here, so like, you know, giving more than I received. So clearly where she worked for me and everything like that, I'm so giving, no problem, because I always wanted to look after her and her son. She kept saying that you're my mom, and I was like, I'm not really, but she was trying to make me responsible to be her mom so she could just not do anything with her life and just rely on me. Maybe I allowed it a little bit, shouldn't have done that. Confession. She came to confess. I think she took a lot more than what she actually told me about, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. It's a lesson. It's initiation. So when she confessed, I forgave, right? Because it took a lot for her to come, even though she was losing her marbles, you know? Yeshua said, cleanse, forgive, release. Boundaries. Didn't get it in the beginning, which is why the drama continued. And I should listen to my intuition, because I felt very uncomfortable at the fact that she was going to come back and look at the house. And I thought it was my stuff. It's not always your stuff, right? It's not always your stuff. As spiritual light workers, we're always like, well, you know, it is my movie. Yeah, it is to a point, but then you have to be really discerning and going, right, is this intuition telling me to do something else? I didn't know at the time, but then I quickly corrected it, you know? So now, like, as a result of not putting boundaries in, you can see what happens, right? So this was a big lesson. So as soon as I chose myself and I put a boundary in, all the support came, right? So that, and just to end this video really, because it's going to lead into other videos that I'm going to do, the necklace, let's talk about that. How crazy is this? So after she left, I looked at the necklace and I looked at the pendant, and do you know what the pendant was? It was Mars, the god of war. I turned it over, and on the other side was Medusa. Now, the Greek mythology is actually, I'm just starting to move into the Greek mythology, because Egypt is very much guiding me, or Hathor is going from Egypt to Greece. So first of all, that was quite crazy, because like, I don't follow the Greek mythology. Why would my daughter have a pendant with this necklace? Then when I looked up Mars, god of war, what he is the keeper of, he is the keeper of sacred boundaries. That's all I can say. So when I flicked it over and there was Medusa on the back, I got fully activated by Medusa, who, by the way, is very similar to Sekhmet, which we're going to get into in other videos. That was an entry point. So all of this chaos, all of this boundaries or not boundaries, has now led me into a new god and goddess, but more goddess, has now led me into the Medusa teachings, and all of those frequencies, which I fast embodied, started just coming in. I was just channeling her. I was even stood in the chemist waiting to get something, and she's just, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? So through every dark time, there is a reason for it. There is a reason that you need to go through that initiation, because every initiation unlocks another layer, and we are in exponentially hectic times. You're going to be feeling the same thing. New gods and goddesses are coming online, okay, within you, and that is the embodiment process. So embrace it. And I just wanted to share this video because anybody else would listen to this and go, oh, hell no, this is just bad, 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 bad. But was it though? It was the deepest initiation. And yeah, and then just to finish off, when I actually got into the, when I got into the Uber, I just started laughing because I got into the Uber and locked the door, and I was just like, whew, because I didn't think I was going to make my flight. And do you know what was playing on the radio? Gangsters Paradise by Coolio. Been spending most of my life living in the gangster's paradise. And I just got in the car, like, slammed the door, and I was like, yeah. So I'm now gangster. And we're spiritual gangsters. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave that video there, and then I'm going to go on and record some more. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Peace.